Hey everybody, and welcome to Aniki, the podcast about anime with two brothers. I'm Ben.
And sometimes I feel like a nut.
A time nut?
Well, and sometimes I don't.
I don't know if there's a time nut joke in there. I don't know of any nuts that have anything to do with time.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll have to think about that one. What have you been up to since last we spoke?
Work.
Just work? All the work?
Work. I finished my audiobook of The Once and Future King. I just finished my audiobook of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, translated by J.R.R. Tolkien, because it took me like an hour and a half to get home from work today because it's raining in Seattle, which means traffic is garbage.
Delightful.
And now I have started on Le Morte d'Arthur.
Ah. I am also reading Le Morte d'Arthur.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, and I've been watching The Mandalorian. I have not watched this week's episode, i.e. episode 7, so speak nothing of it.
I haven't seen it either yet.
Well, did you see episode 6, though?
I have not.
Oh, good lord. Where have you been? Episode
know.
6 is 100% best episode so far.
That's what I've heard, so I don't want to hear anything about that either.
Yeah, it's great.
I need to catch up on that probably tomorrow after I actually see Star Wars.
I'll give you one spoiler, which is it's got one of those devil guys in it.
One of those devil guys.
You know, the devil guy from Star Wars.
Like
devil guy, devil alien.
Darth Maul type dude?
No. Devil alien. Everyone knows devil alien.
Is he like the guy from the cantina?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Devil alien.
That guy.
Everyone loves devil alien, but there's one in the new episode.
Is he played by Bill Burr? Because I know he was in it.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, you're killing me. Anyway, so I was reading Le Morte d'Arthur, and then I decided also to listen to an audiobook version of Sword and Stone, because you put me on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's cool, but it's very different.
Oh, it's extremely different. They're not even the same ballpark.
Well, I mean, Sword in the Stone is a bunch of stuff that's not in Le Morte d'Arthur. Really, a bunch of the Mallory stuff they uses is really in book 3, which is really the best book. Books 3 and 4, which are really the best ones anyway. I mean, books 1 and 2 are good, but 3 and 4 are the best.
Well, Le Morte d'Arthur is a collection of very short chapters, which have great titles. I love the titles.
They follow the medieval naming title convention of, we're just going to tell you what we're about to tell you in the title.
Yes.
Very similar to all of the titles of Sailor Moon episodes.
Or every light novel ever. So people who are making fun of light novels and their titles, despite the content of the title, the format is hundreds of years old. Fun fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, since they're all small chapters, the entirety of what happens in Sword in the Stone by T.H. White takes place in the first 5 chapters of Le Morte d'Arthur.
Roundabout, yeah.
And then he meets Guinevere and marries her in about 3 sentences. And then we just move on. Like, done with that. Don't need that. That's boring.
I mean, that's why there's a lot of stuff in T.H. White, right? Because like Mallory is the true definitive version, but it's still pretty scant.
It's not only, well, it's scant on interesting bits. It is full of jousting. Do you like jousting? Because
that's what I've heard.
Knights and jousting. There's so much jousting.
Yeah, T.H. White actually talks about that because he gets pretty meta with his books, and he's like, if you really care about jousting, just read Mallory. He goes into great detail. So if you care about all the jousting that I could describe here, just go read that.
In the bit I'm in, and I'm only in like first 20% of the book, it's like nothing but, King Arthur and how he saw a knight and they jousted. Or King Arthur meets another knight, and they joust. Oh, look, there's another knight. Who meets another knight? Guess what they do?
I bet they joust.
You are correct.
Ooh.
Yes.
Exciting.
So it's tedious. I'm not going to lie. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I watched in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, Steven Universe Future has started.
I didn't watch that.
It's pretty good so far.
Did I watch anything? Dang, I don't think I watched anything. What am I doing with my life? Maybe I should just hit like a undo button or something.
I suppose you could.
I could just like nut all over this timeline.
Ooh, please don't.
Ugh.
No.
The joke was there.
No,
I
take
debated
that
with
one back.
myself. I thought,
take that one back.
Should I? And then I just went for it.
Take a third.
No. Get wrecked. Let's talk about Girl Who Leapt Through Time.
I think it's the year of our Lord 2019. It's the girl who yeeted through time.
Who
we
yeeted
gotta
herself
say
through
French
time?
for the kids.
Oh, Lord.
That's going to be the name of the episode.
That's terrible. And I hate everything you just said.
The world is pain.
It is. And you've increased it just a tiny bit.
Good.
So, Girl Who Leapt Through Time, 2006 movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if it won a bunch of awards, but it should have if it didn't.
It did.
Oh, it won like all the awards.
It won all the awards.
Scrolling
in
down
2006.
Here. Did you know?
Did I know
that it is based on a novel of the same name that was written in 1967?
Huh.
By the same guy, Yasutaka Tsutsui.
Yeah.
Guess what else he wrote?
What else did he write?
Paprika.
Oh, Paprika is very good.
It is.
I don't think it's Satoshi Kon's best work, but it's good.
Yes. So he wrote
Millennium
both of those
Actress,
novels.
I think, is still his best work.
Well, he didn't write that. What else did this guy write? What the Maid Saw. He wrote a novel called Hell.
I feel like I read What the Maid Saw in college, but I couldn't tell you.
Let's see.
Sounds
Paprika,
vaguely familiar.
Girl Who Leapt Through Time. These are all things that have been translated. Bullseye and Salmonella Men on Planet Porno.
Okay, I'll read that one.
This is delightful. I want to know more about this.
I mean, who doesn't?
A collection of short stories by the dude, not to be confused with the original Japanese collection, which is exactly the same thing. These stories have been selected from a number of works by the author.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, la-di-frickin-da.
The Epitomus story is the very last one, but it is in there. Anyway, this movie has nothing to do with porno, which is good.
I mean, it depends on how deep on the internet you go. Hey, I need to show you this. You've gotten to the questing beast in Who'sy Whatsy, right?
In both, yes.
Okay. So I was looking at pictures of the questing beast because it's based on a giraffe, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah. So the questing beast is very likely a giraffe.
In England?
Well, not in England. It's based off of the idea of a giraffe, right? Oh. So a long snake neck, a leopard skin with cloven hooves. So this is the main image of the questing beast that you get when you pop up. But unfortunately, I went a little too deep in my Google image search, and I found this one. God
damn it!
Oh yeah, that's my new giraffe persona.
Why do you do this to me? Every time. I just
scrolled too far down. It's not my fault. I went too far.
You never go to page 2 on Google. You should know that by now.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to the nice happy place of Girl Who Leapt Through Time, which is a nice story about a girl who leaps through time.
Sure does.
What is the elevator pitch for this, you think? Besides
what
Girl
you just said.
Leaps Through Time. She leaps through time for frivolous reasons.
She does. And it causes some mischief.
Mischief, and then ultimately romance, maybe.
Kind of. The romance wasn't super great in this, I'm not going to lie.
There's romance-ish.
Ish.
And what did you think of Miss Makoto who can leap through time?
It's not bad. It felt very much like a rough draft.
Really?
Yeah, I thought so. It felt not quite done to me.
I liked it.
It's not bad by any stretch. It's especially not bad for something from back in 2006. So I mean, I can't be too upset. I mean, this guy went on to do Summer Wars and Mirai, which I still haven't seen, but it's supposed to be very good. And Summer Wars is still one of my favorite Japanese films.
Well, it's very cute, and it does time travel relatively well, I thought.
Yeah, no, I would give you that.
I like the movie mostly because it does a lot of showing and not telling. And you get a lot of emotion from it, good or bad.
I didn't, but
really, This is the second time I've seen it, and I got some feels.
No, fair enough. Have you seen Your Name yet?
I refuse to answer that question.
Well, there's your problem. I mean...
Have you been deadened because you watched Your Name? Is that what happened?
Have you seen Your Name?
I still plead the fifth on that one.
So, I mean... This is no Your Name.
Well, from what I hear, nothing is Your Name.
There's not much that is. You're not gonna... I mean, that's not far off.
But it's a nice film. It's a nice, cute film.
No, it's pretty good.
And people should watch it. I gave it a 9 because it's good.
Well, I'm not quite sure I would go that far. 9 is still like, you should definitely watch this if you're into anime. And I think these days,
it's pretty
definitely
iconic.
more of an 8. Well, I mean, I guess.
No, it is. It's definitely a 9. At least between an 8 and a 9. At least you're giving it an 8. You're not like, ugh.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not bad by any stretch. It's not something that I was like, ugh, you should never watch this, or ugh, this is gross. It's just like, there's some stuff that doesn't land as well as it should, and it leaves a little too much unexplained, and the ending doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It does on rewatch.
No, I don't think it does.
Some of it does. Not all of it, but some of it.
He has to leave.
Listen.
Reason?
Listen.
For reason?
Okay. So I'm going to bleep that out. Spoiler time. If you haven't watched it, you should stop now because he's about to spoil all the things.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so he leaves for reasons.
And then he comes back and then he leaves again. Yeah, I know.
For no reason. No reason. There's none. There's not. This isn't like an Escaflowne thing where like she leaves and it's like, okay, well, she's trying to go back to her real home. Sure, fine. She's leaving true love to go back home to her family and her responsibilities. Sure, fine. This is just, he leaves for no reason. No reason.
Look, I'm not going to defend the ending at all.
It doesn't make any sense.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
There's no sense.
It's left deliberately ambiguous for
it's not like
art reasons. They're not narrative reasons.
It's not like you had previous timelines in which he stayed past the date in which he leaves.
Right.
Now, if the film had it so at certain points during the other timelines he mysteriously left, fine. This would all be explainable and this would work. But no, he's like, I love you. Now I to go back to my home planet.
He doesn't even say that.
He doesn't.
It's very
He just
disappointing.
leaves for no reason. And I'm very confused.
And then he says, I'll wait for you in the future. And then the movie gives itself an opportunity to explain how is she going to meet him in the future so we can have some hope. And her answer to that is, I'm not going to tell you. And then the movie ends.
The ending doesn't make any sense.
Yes. Let's skip the ending part because the rest of it is fine.
Okay. The rest of it's pretty okay. They never explain the painting either, but this is also very irritating.
Don't worry about that.
Well, again, you're telling me to not worry about the things that are like...
It's a MacGuffin. You don't need to worry about the MacGuffin.
Yeah, I should, though.
Why?
To some extent.
He needed to see it.
Why? And if he needed to see it so bad, why didn't he stay at the end? At least for the month it takes for her to restore the painting.
Okay, look.
No. Riddle me this. Okay? I'm not saying the movie's bad. I'm not. But I'm saying that there's some pretty big plot holes. They're just like, why? There's no real motivation.
Let's start at the beginning
These things just
here.
happen.
Look.
All right.
Let's start at the beginning. We got Makoto, and she's got two friends because she's one of the guys basically. You got Chiaki.
I can tell you that this movie is just full of good scenery porn. 100%. The backgrounds in this are just phenomenal.
Well, yes, it makes it feel like it's summer all the time.
Yeah. And her house, for better or worse, is straight out of a Thomas Kincaid painting.
Yeah. I would live there.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
So you got Makoto, you got Chiaki. Chiaki is kind of I don't know, what is he, kind of the rebel-ish character, you think? He's always in a wife beater. He's not really sure what to do with himself, but he's good at math.
He's the Kyo from, Kyon? The cat one from Fruits Basket.
Yeah. And then you got...
He's that type.
And then you got Kosuke, who's like...
Who's the good old reliable.
He's good and reliable. He wants to be a doctor when he grows up. He's got himself sorted. And then Makoto doesn't know what to do with herself. She just wants to live in the moment. And she's a big old tomboy.
Yep.
And she's super cute.
Yeah, and again, like, I can appreciate a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not as much as I can appreciate the raven-haired beauty from either version of a Tatami Galaxy. But
Now you take what you can get.
no, do what you can.
Anyway, they're in high school, and one day Makoto discovers a message written on a blackboard, and all it says...
And then she busts a nut.
I thought you banned me from saying that.
I banned you from saying it. We each get one.
Okay.
I used mine a little bit better than
room.
Yours, I think. Yeah,
But-
she busts a nut in the science room. See, I think I've used mine better.
Yes, maybe.
That time waits for no one.
Yeah, it says
Except
time...
it does, though. Okay.
Except who wrote it? I don't know.
I have to assume Chiaki
I would think so.
just being wistful.
Like, I've seen this movie before, and I saw the message now 4 times in my life. And I noticed this time watching the first time that it was written up there, and then like an arrow was drawn towards the 4 with like a little cryptic message under it that was left untranslated. And I came back to it at the end of the movie where they showed it again, and it still makes no sense.
What, the time waits for no one?
Well, that's basically the title of the show. I mean, you got to have that up there, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like it was hinting at more, like, oh, here's a mystery to solve.
Again, my major problem with this movie is that there's a whole lot of hinting at more, and it chooses to do nothing with any of it, which is like fine on a certain level, but on the other, that's why
Japanese
it feels half.
literature.
Well, that's why the whole thing feels a little half done, because it's like either have it be your frivolous or a fluffy movie that is good,
Mhm.
or have it have a little bit of a more serious meaning.
Well, look,
But it doesn't. Though.
have you seen or read any Japanese literature from the 20th century?
It was literally my major in college, so I'm going to have to go with a yes, I
Yes.
have.
So you will know more than I even that Japanese novels do this all the time.
Well, I wouldn't go quite that far. I would say they like their ambiguity, but there's a difference. Usually their ambiguity has some sort of thematic point. In this, it's just kind of there.
I don't have explanations. I'm looking to you then if you're the expert. Why was it there?
No, I don't know. It's just kind of there. I mean, there's some themes about war, obviously, because the painting survived through war. And you kind of see a through line of why he wants to see it, because it gave hope in a time of desperation. And it's highly implied that the future he is from is apocalyptic. But they don't really do anything else with that or put that theme anywhere else in the movie.
Yeah, because it's not about war and all that. It's about young love.
Kind of, except the romance isn't really in it. Well, it is. Yeah, the romance isn't in it. Her feelings are in it, though.
She has lots of those feelings.
She has lots of those
And
feelings.
the whole point of
I
the movie
really
is her coming to terms with that.
Yes. And I see this, but there's a whole bunch of other things that get in the way and muddle that vision.
But one of the things that gets in her way is one day she loses control of her bike because the brakes fail and she gets hit by a train.
Almost.
Now, she does get hit by the train. And
No, she
then
doesn't.
she transports back in time.
She transports back in time before she gets hit by the train.
It's that part is ambiguous. Does she actually get hit by the train? I think so.
If so, then really this is all happening in purgatory.
Well, that would explain a lot. Anyway, so she finds out that she can travel back in time, short distances, long distances.
Maybe it's also slightly implied that she can travel forward in time as well. Really, she can move. Yeah, no, they have to be able to travel forward in time too. She can sort of freely move in time as long as she has a good picture of where she is going. That's not explicitly stated, but it has to be implied as to why that she has to visualize where she can go. It's not a random jump, nor is it one that's always the same amount of time. She seems to have to visualize where she wants to go, I guess when, and then leap there.
It is sometimes
physically.
random, sometimes not.
It's
also
a little imprecise.
It's also imprecise
say
in
that.
how she actually manifests the jump. Sometimes she literally jumps. Sometimes she just wills it. And most of the time it's off screen, so we don't know.
That is true. The majority of jumps are off screen, but every time it's shown on screen, she's physically jumping.
But she finds out that she can do this, and she uses it to multiple frivolous ends, like getting better at a test, getting out of embarrassing herself in certain classes, etc., etc., etc. right?
At least to some good unintended consequences. Not that the unintended consequences are themselves good. They're all bad unintended consequences, as unintended consequences always are. But it's more that they are satisfying unintended consequences.
And throughout this, she does have some sort of mentor figure in her aunt, who she keeps calling Aunt Witch.
Which they never explain either, but okay.
I was kind of hoping that she would be like someone who has done this before.
Yeah.
But instead, she starts out, you think she's going to be one of these characters like, oh, I understand what you're doing. You've always got that high school science teacher, like in Stranger Things or anywhere else, where the kids come to you and be like, we just saw this crazy thing. He's like, oh, I know what that is. That's a time leap. That's a thing you've done. Here's an instruction manual.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing teaching high school? But she's not. She's actually teasing Makoto. And she's not in high school. She is an art restorer at a museum.
Yeah, no, I liked her as a character because, again, like you're never quite sure if she's giving good advice or if she's lightly teasing or the good advice is wrapped in her lightly teasing.
Both.
Yeah, exactly.
She's definitely teasing with the giving advice on the by chance that maybe Makoto's telling the truth. She's at least going through something. And and she needs a bit of guidance, right? So there's some confessions and things that happen. The big one is one day she's going home with her two buddy friends and they split up. She gets a bike ride with Chiaki back home. And on the way, he's like, oh, by the way, you want to go out?
Yeah, I did like this. And I like how many times she tried to get out of it and she never really could until she jumped much further back.
I get that you're trying to undo what you heard, but you still
can't unhear it. No, exactly. And I like that that's one of the big things that I really enjoyed about it is how much like she doesn't want to hear it because she doesn't want the relationship to change, but she's heard it no matter what. So instead of him changing the relationship, she changes the relationship by then knowing that he likes her. So she starts to avoid him in sort of the more prime-ish timelines.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that. I thought that was well done and good.
It is well done and good. I think that's a very realistic thing that would happen with someone of that age.
Agreed.
Especially if they got this power all of a sudden. They're like, I'm going to use this to undo. Oh, wait. I can't stop the timeline in my own head.
Yeah, I literally can't unhear it.
About this time, though, she realizes that she has a number tattooed on her arm where she hit the nut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She thinks it says 90 when she first notices it. But it turns out she was reading it upside down. And it was actually a 9. And that was actually the number of times that she could jump.
Oh, see, I read it as 90 and it was going down due to various off-screen jumps.
It was until she noticed it. And then when she checks it again, it's like down to, I can't remember if it's 5 or something, maybe 8.
Yeah.
And she realizes that she has a very limited number of jumps left. And then she gets down to her last one.
Yep.
And in this one, she's like, she sorted everything out. She's tried many a time to get her friend Kosuke and I forget her name, some girl, to go out. It's very important to her that she gets those two together because they deserve happiness, right?
They do. It's very cute.
They are very cute together. And in this timeline, it turns out that she left her bike unattended. And Kosuke, being a nice guy and being her friend, is like, hey, I'm borrowing your bike to take this girl to, I forget, it's the hospital or something. Anyway, I'm taking her home.
Nah.
I'll see you later. And then she realizes, oh, wait, that's the bike that's broken. And today's the day. Uh-oh.
Yeah, so one of the slightly odd things about this movie, and this isn't necessarily something bad at all, but it's the way the sort of timelines work is the things that happen are kind of set-ish in stone. It's just a matter of who it happens to, which I feel is a very Eastern way of looking at time travel, where it doesn't really matter who's doing it, but these things will happen rather than these people will do these things.
Yeah, you see that most strikingly in the home ec class.
Yeah, and sort of the first jump.
Yeah, because the exact chain of events happened to this other guy, even though we all know that butterfly effect, it would not have happened that way, right?
Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of time travel you're dealing with, but yes.
Yes. In this case, it is things must occur. It's just we're swapping out who they occur to. In this case, Kosuke and his girlfriend get murked by a train. And she has run out of her time jumps. Because right before, Chiaki calls her and says, hey, have you been time jumping?
Yeah, and she's like, well, don't want to have this conversation.
So she wastes her last jump.
So she nopes out real fast.
I don't know why she did that, because there are a lot of questions there. She thinks he's going to confess over the phone, because this is the good timeline. She's finally figured it out. But he drops that bomb on her. It's like, you've been time jumping. Why you been doing that? Instead of asking, how do you know that? Or anything else.
Yeah, that's a little weird too, right?
Well, she is dumb.
Yeah.
She's kind of dumb. But now she's out of time jumps and her friends are about to get murked by a train. Turns out they actually do get murked by a train. But
yeah, no, they super do.
This timeline gets altered by Chiaki.
Yep. And then he has to go, but he can't because he used up his last jump to fix it.
Well, before he does, he does have a...
And somehow he stops time for a while?
That's not a power we've seen yet. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he uses his last time jump to stop time to save her friends and make her happy.
By stealing the bike.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not really sure how he stops time. But he does explain that he came from a future where people can travel through time now using these walnuts.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back in time to see this painting that's being restored. You've actually seen him in the background every time Makoto goes to the museum. But he hasn't seen it yet, and now he has to leave tomorrow.
Even though he's used his last jump, so he can't go home.
I assume that he's going to be arrested by the time cops.
Sure.
Because, yeah, time cop. That's a thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, he can be taken by time cops. I don't know how this works. This whole finale is a little sketchy.
Well, he has to go, and she's very sad about it. And then she realizes that she actually does really have feelings. I don't think she realizes it. She finally admits it to herself.
Yeah.
She's had these feelings the entire time.
Oh, absolutely.
But next day, sure enough, he's gone, and she is extremely distraught. Openly weeping on the roof and whatnot. Makoto realizes that, hey, wait a minute. Turns out my tattoo changed. It's gone from 0 to 1. That means I can...
because Chiaki leaped and changed the timeline before she leaped to change his timeline. So she got her leap back, which makes a twisted amount of sense.
It's fine.
You can't bring your own time leaps back by you can't change your own timeline, but somebody else could change yours. So you can get it back. I feel like there's some way that they could abuse that, the two of them.
Let's not think about that.
If they sat down and thought about it. But after they admit everything to each other, they kind of don't think and just leave. So
anyway, she time jumps and goes back to
all the way back to
the beginning. Like when she first landed on the nut. Nut's still used up because it is a fixed point it is a fact. The nut is a fact. So it's done. It's still used up. And she goes out to confess to Chiaki and then doesn't. And then we have the ending, which we've already alluded to, makes no sense.
It does not a lick of sense.
Because he leaves. They're sitting there on the bank. And
they explain everything to each other, and then he leaves.
She's like, just confess to me. You had something you said in the past, and I'd like you to say it again. He's like, I don't know what that is, so I'm out. She's like, say it. He's like, you should be good to yourself. Make sure you don't run into traffic. And then she cries, and he leaves. And then he comes back and whispers something sort of romantic in her ear. I'll wait for you in the future. And then he actually is gone.
Yep. Why does he leave? I don't understand.
Maybe he was actually on vacation and his PTO ran out and he's got to go back.
But it didn't happen in any of the other timelines.
See, the thing is if the future has these time devices, he could literally leap back to right when he left.
Okay, no. Okay, so that's an easy note prize because that's he stole it or something. That one's a pretty easy nope prize.
Okay,
That one's
but
easy to explain.
He is
away.
a teenager. How did he get
or
it?
that anybody can ever use it once, or something. As in, you can only bust a nut once in your life. So,
this is terrible.
So you've got that going for you.
Anyway, my contention is the narrative is piecemeal at best.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. The time stuff isn't the point. The real point is the character development of Makoto going from a self-absorbed, I'm going to live in the present, and that's it. Kind of like the girl from Night is Long, Walk On Girl.
Yeah.
And she's coming to the realization that I do have feelings, I do know what I want, and if I don't reach out and grab those things, they are going to be gone. Except in the case they're gone anyway. So, but regardless, that is the point. She's becoming true to herself and learning to help others instead of just taking wherever life takes her.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and that's good. But again, like that's why the film to me just sort of feels like a first draft, a first sort of just a first go at it. In a way it is, right? Because it's this director's first film that wasn't a Digimon movie. So, I mean, and it's good. I mean, it's good for that. I mean, and you can't say he's a bad director because he's gone on to do amazing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But it's a good film. I got feels. I felt for her, probably because she's freaking cute. But, you know, I felt things. There were things that were felt in this cold, dark pit I call a heart.
All right. Yeah, but I'm gonna see that and say you've still not seen Your Name.
This is correct. I have not seen Your Name. Oh crap! I finally admitted it. Dang it.
Yeah. See. I mean, watch Your Name and then watch this and then be like, "This is no Your Name."
This is a lighter version of Your Name. It's also a lighter version of not a short Walk On Girl. So you could say that if you want the fullness of what this movie's trying to portray to you, really go watch Tatami Galaxy.
I mean, in general, you should just always go watch Tatami Galaxy.
Unfortunately, not people do. More people should.
Especially now that's actually available in the States.
It's very good. And it does time travel, sort of. And it has all this coming to terms with your own feelings and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't want to say this movie is bad. I would say that it feels slightly amateurish, but that's just because it's this guy's first real work. And it's not to say it wasn't good at the time. At the time, it was phenomenal, right? So it's won a bazillion awards back in 2006.
The 2007 Japan Academy Prize. Come on.
So I mean, it was extremely good for its time, especially. A lot of the thoughts and ideas in this have been refined since then. I
may have to go read the original novel now. This is actually a loose sequel to that novel. Yeah. So maybe if I read the novel, it'll make more sense.
This has, Rotten Tomatoes has an aggregate of about 88% on it.
That's about right.
And I would about agree with that.
So that rounds up to my 9.
I think this is like an 8. This is like a B. Not a B movie, but I mean, if you were to rank movies, this would be more of a B than an A.
I actually looked up the novel.
Yeah.
Literally Time Soaring Girl is the name. Do you know how many adaptations it's had?
Adaptations? Oh, probably a ton.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh boy.
We have a 1972 live action TV series, a 1983 film, a 1983 short story, 1985 drama, a 1994 drama. A lot of live actions here. 1997 film, the 2002 film, this one.
I would definitely think that, again, so one of the things that seems unoriginal about it is the whole time leap concept. You're like, all right, that's a little, but again, this concept is actually from 1967, not from 2006. And you're like, I see.
Actually, this movie we just watched is the outlier because everything else except for a manga adaptation and a short story have all been live action adaptations of this, which makes sense. It's got a lot of stuff that you can work with in live action other than the crazy, you're going through time now. But Doctor Who figured that one out. Just throw a vortex up and throw them through it. What are we going to do for next time?
I think we're going to have a Merry Christmas.
That is true. We are going to have a Merry Christmas.
So I think that we just need to hold on to our butts until the new anime season comes out, and then do our hotakes.
Hotakes. Be on the lookout for our hotakes, and we'll announce whatever we're gonna watch at that point. Because we don't.
I mean, maybe your name. You brute.
You're a brute.
Not my fault. You can't watch frickin' Your Name.
It's on my list. I have a list, and sometimes I have time to watch things.
Bump it near the top of your frickin' list.
I think it is.
You scrub.
No, you. All right. Well, we will see you next time.
Oh, yeah, I suppose so.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and bye forever.